In the far north of England lies a hollow that never grew right. The air there is thicker, the fields blacker, and the crows never quite leave. It was called Hollow's End, and though time forgot its roads, the villagers remembered one thing well: never leave food out on All Hallows' Eve, for that night was not meant for the living alone. They said the wind carried Beelzebub, the lord of the flies, across the land on Halloween, and wherever his swarm settled, something would die before morning. The year was 1823, and Hollow's End was starving. The crops had failed, the wells had soured, and every harvest rat had vanished without trace. Desperate, the villagers planned to break the oldest taboo. They would hold a feast of the dead on Halloween, leaving food and ale out to appease the spirits and beg for mercy. Only Elias Croft, the blacksmith, argued against it. "Feed the dead," he said, "and you invite worse than ghosts." But hunger silenced him. When the feast began, the villagers laid out tables under the withered oaks, piling them with bread, apples, roasted meat, everything they had. The wind fell silent. Then came a smell, not of food, but of rot. A stranger appeared at the edge of the square, tall and lean, his clothes too fine for such a place. Flies circled his head like a halo. "You keep a poor table," he said softly, voice like buzzing wings, but a generous one. No one dared speak. He smiled. "Perhaps I can bless your harvest, if you'll feed me properly." The villagers hesitated. Only Elias stepped forward. "Who are you, traveler?" The man turned his eyes on him, black as oil, gleaming with hunger. "I am the eater of offerings, the first guest at every feast. You know my name." A single fly crawled from the corner of his mouth and took flight. Beelzebub. The villagers, terrified, fell to their knees. Only Elias stood his ground. "You've no place here, demon. The church bells will drive you out." Beelzebub laughed, 1,000 voices buzzing together. "Your church is empty. Your priest fled last winter. Call your bells, blacksmith. They'll ring hollow." He walked to the tables and lifted a piece of bread. The crust turned black in his hand. "You invited the dead to eat, and I have come. But every gift has its cost." Elias spat on the ground. "Take your curse and go." The demon turned to him with a look almost human, pitying, patient. "You will feed me, Elias Croft, whether by hand or by flesh." When midnight came, the sky itself seemed to rot. The moon vanished behind a crawling black cloud that shimmered with wings. Flies poured through chimneys, under doors, through cracks in the wood, an endless swarm. They covered the tables, devouring every crumb in seconds. Then they moved toward the people. Screams echoed through Hollow's End as the swarm devoured the feast. And the feasters. By dawn, the square was empty. Only bones and buzzing remained. Only Elias survived. He had locked himself in the forge, sealing every crack with molten iron. When morning came, the swarm was gone. But written on the soot-black door were 3 words, traced in what looked like honey: "Feed me again." Each year after, Elias tried to leave the village, but the road twisted back upon itself. The soil grew sour, the air thicker. By the 3rd Halloween, even the flies had fled, until that night when they came back in a cloud that blotted out the stars. They came for him. He woke to find them crawling over the forge, through the vents, under the iron door. They gathered before him, swirling, humming, and then parting, to reveal the same tall stranger, smiling through the veil of wings. "You kept me waiting, Elias. The dead grow hungry." The blacksmith fell to his knees. "What do you want?" "A promise kept, a feast renewed." Beelzebub leaned close. "Every year, 1 meal, 1 soul, or my hunger will fall on the living again." And so the bargain was struck. From that year onward, the village of Hollow's End fed him. Each Halloween, 1 person vanished, chosen by lottery, taken by the swarm before dawn. The village never starved again. But the wind over the fields always hummed like flies. No one lives in Hollow's End anymore. The land is wild, the ruins buried under ivy. But on cold October nights, travelers who pass the valley swear they see a lantern flickering near the old square and hear a faint, droning hum, like wings circling unseen. They say if you leave a plate of food beside the road and whisper, "For the Lord of Flies," the buzzing stops. If you don't, the sound follows you home. And come morning, something always goes missing. Sometimes it's just your food. Sometimes it's more. Every Halloween, the living pretend to feed the dead. But once it was no game. Once the dead truly came to eat. And Beelzebub, the first guest at every feast, has never forgotten the taste. Thank you for listening. Join our always growing legion. Discover Satan World.